My father took me everywhere, whether it was organizing the Negro American Labor Council under A. Philip Randolph. From the time I was conscious until the day my dad died, really. I mean, I was exposed to people who were trying to transform the landscape. So I knew Dr. King, I knew Ralph Bunche, I knew Roy Wilkins. I mean, these were people, and not just in the African American community, I mean, Walter Reuther, who my father worked for. So these were people that were in whatever way, either in the African American community or the trade union community, trying to really shape and change the landscape of this nation. My father, for example, met Dr. King, I think in '56, brought him to Detroit, introduced him to Walter Reuther, was over to Birmingham Voter Education Project. I remember Dr. King very vividly. Remember him in my house. I remember things that he said to me. And he said to me that, it's not important what I do or what God has given me. And he looked at me, he says, it's about what we give back. It's about who we are and giving ourselves and spending our lives for other people. I just felt like really I was osmotically absorbing who he was. I knew I was in the presence of a great man, someone whose life had been really shaped and molded by God. Most of the time I was mesmerized. I mean, I was in complete awe. The first thing that is definitely true, which needs to be said over and over again, Dr. King had a whole lot of opposition. In fact, there was a lot of jealousy among some of the civil rights organizations for them having struggled, in ACP from the Niagara movement, and then basically be eclipsed by a Southern Baptist preacher. My father took me to planning meetings for the March on Washington. I went to Baltimore, and people were arguing over logistics, arguing over who would speak and whether they would allow certain people to support the march. And so just remembering the calming presence that he had, because he didn't get upset. He would let people share and say whatever they want to, but at the end of the day, he had a clear vision for where he wanted to go. I was 8 going on 9. My sisters and I, we were selling buttons. And by the way, we sold quite a few. And there were thousands and thousands of people. It was just a great display. Having gone to the planning meetings and watched how my dad had done all of that, I had a keen sense of what went into it to make it happen. And so I didn't see it as a one-day display of mass emotionalism. I saw it as an extension of something larger than just people gathering there for that one day. My father's generation and the buddy battles and all the people we're talking about, they were people who deferred their own aspirations and hope to future generations. They weren't trying to gain access for themselves. They weren't doing this so that they would be the sole and primary beneficiaries. We had people who committed their whole lives and did not care if they never walked in the door that they opened. They just wanted to see it open. My grandfather and my father didn't want anybody to give them anything. They just wanted to have the same opportunity as anyone else to be able to work and earn respect and be paid a fair wage for the same labor from the sweat of their brow. But, this is the American dream that people, based, as King said, on the content of their color, not content of their character, not the color of their skin, can achieve whatever they set in their mind they want to. So I would just hope that dream, that freedom, that privilege to prosper, that privilege to express your own ideas and have your own opinions, and the freedoms that are associated with those, the 4 freedoms, would be something we continue to covet and to make certain that future generations experience. That's my dream.